Almost exactly a year after the launch of its predecessor, Insta360 presents the GO 3S, the latest edition of its compact camera series. The new model might look very similar to the GO 3, but now it not only offers one of the most requested GO features, 4K maximum resolution, but also comes complete with a whole host of other updates, making the GO 3S a rather significant upgrade. Insta360 are clearly on a mission to outshine the competition, and they're doing so with innovative camera designs and features. The Insta360 GO 3S reinforces this approach, supplied in its sleek new package design. Even the accessories, which are largely the same in terms of functionality, have been subject to their own refinements too. From the new and refined magnet pendant, which is shaped slightly different and has an inner layer insulation design with improved heat dissipation, which apparently provides for a more comfortable experience. This time we also have the ability to mount the camera vertically or horizontally depending upon the type of video we wish to capture. More on that shortly. Otherwise, we also have the quick clip, and although this looks and works the same as the predecessor, this time round it's compatible with the pendant with improved magnetic strength for fully customized angles. It actually attaches really strong too. And then we have the pivot stand, which now works on slightly curved surfaces with an attachment to keep the cover and base together so they don't get lost. So all minor upgrades over the original that make them a little more versatile to use. When it comes to the action pod itself, other than the small S printed on the lower front corner, as well as some new rubberized side buttons, they're pretty much precisely the same. In fact, if it weren't for that S, you'd be hard pressed to tell them apart. The pod weighs the same as the predecessor and has the same dimensions, battery, and display. No difference there at all. Even the pivoting 2.2-inch display is identical, as is the release mechanism for the camera unit. The good thing about this is that users of the original GO 3 can actually purchase just the 3S camera unit alone, and with a firmware update, snap it into the original GO 3 action pod, and still share all the same features and benefits of the new package to boost battery life and for easy navigation of settings, plus remote control and viewing. So those who already own the GO 3 but want the GO 3S can save a little by opting for the standalone camera over the bundle. The camera unit itself then is a whole new ballgame. It's here that we see the biggest upgrades. Just like the action pod, physically it looks almost identical to the predecessor with a single button on the front and the rubberized and magnetic finish on the rear. Saying that, the 3S is a twinge heavier and a fraction deeper than the GO 3 and has a slightly more grippier finish around the edges, but otherwise it maintains very similar dimensions, meaning it'll work with the same accessories. Put the two cameras side by side and you'd be hard pressed to note any difference. We're talking a few mere millimeters and grams, but saying that, the GO 3S also boasts an IPX8 water rating, making it a true underwater explorer down to 33 feet or 10 meters compared to the GO 3's modest 5 meter dip. The biggest noticeable difference is with the actual lens itself, as well as what's behind it. This time round, the GO 3S is powered by an enhanced processor with a 50% increase in CPU processing power, and a new wide-angle lens, so it's not only physically larger, but now shoots in full 4K rather than the GO 3's 2.7K. That's almost double the pixels, along with a narrower 15mm focal length and f2.8 aperture. And yes, the lens protector is still removable, so can be replaced if it's chipped or damaged very easily. Actually, it's even easier than before thanks to the integrated ridges. In essence, what this means is videos are noticeably sharper than before with greater dynamic range, enhanced details, more realistic colours, and better contrast thanks to the new HDR technology, as well as an increase in bitrate from 80 up to 120 megabits per second. You can clearly see the difference over its predecessor, and the quality now easily brings the GO series up on par with the likes of the big boys from DJI and GoPro. Unless you're really pixel peeping when publishing to social media, you'd be hard pressed to tell the camera apart when capturing in plenty of natural light. Of course, in anything other than optimum lighting conditions, the GO 3S does lag behind a little, but considering the tiny size, that's hardly a surprise. Honestly, the quality produced by this small pill-shaped camera is mighty impressive. I'm talking greater dynamic range, enhanced details, just generally more realistic colours and better contrast. It really is impressive considering the small hardware size. And I'm especially pleased to see we retain the full 4K quality when shooting in the free-frame video mode this time round too. This does mean more work via the Insta360 smartphone app or desktop software, but it provides so much more flexibility in shooting first and then choosing settings like aspect ratios and stabilization later. And in fact, it's my personal go-to shooting mode, so I'm happy to see I can finally output full 4K in this video mode too. Along with the increase in resolution comes an increase in frame rates at the lower resolutions too, with 1080p now topping out at 200 frames per second and 2.7K at 100, providing the ability to capture some nice slow-mo shots, albeit only in plenty of good light of course. There's a new Mega View field of view option available too, thanks to that increase in CPU power. This gives your images a more realistic look with less distortion and straighter, cleaner edges, without the excessive warping in the corners like we can get when using the Ultra View setting. This doesn't mean the Ultra View is now obsolete. To be fair, from what I can tell, they have more or less the same field of view, but Ultra View warps the corners more. If your creative vision requires more of a fisheye approach, Ultra View is still very much your best option. And of course, if you don't want any distortion, then we still have the de-warp option, albeit at a much narrower field of view. Next on the list is interval video, a completely new shooting mode and a content creator's dream. With interval video, the Go 3S shoots videos at predetermined intervals while you stay focused on the now. Set how often to shoot and the length of each clip, and the Go 3S automatically powers on to record at set times, then powers off to save battery, so you can capture for much longer sessions. It's a fun way to capture activities such as long bike rides, or a day spent in the theme park for example. Time shift and time lapse have also received a massive resolution boost. These modes now shoot in glorious 4K, a big leap from 1440p on the Go 3. Plus, with the maximum bit rate bumped from 80 to 120 megabits per second, the videos generally look smoother and sharper across the board. The Go 3S also introduces the quick delete feature ported over from its bigger brother, the Ace Pro. If at any point you find you've messed up a recording, long press the shutter button on the action pod to instantly cancel and delete the current recording and start again. This helps to keep your storage in check and only leaves the best shots to go through. Another cool upgrade borrowed from the Ace Pro is gesture control, wave to start and stop recording, or flash a peace sign to snap photos. This makes it a lot easier to start self-recordings, nothing new that we haven't seen done before, but it works equally as well here for times when the camera is out of reach on the end of a selfie pole for instance. There are a few other new and noteworthy features too. A new easy switch feature where you just twist your Go 3S to quickly change from horizontal landscape to vertical portrait aspect ratio in seconds. It's super intuitive, especially when paired with the magnetic pendant accessory. A new kids mode, perfect for when your child is wearing the Go 3S as it stops their little fingers from making accidental presses, silences prompt sounds, and dims the indicator lights. And if you're an iOS user, you can easily track the camera down using the Apple Find My network, a first with action cameras, so you don't need to worry about losing your awesome footage or the camera itself. All that extra power and the added features do come at the cost of battery life though, considering the Go 3S has the same battery capacity as its predecessor, so that's 310 mAh in the camera and 1270 mAh in the pod. We do have a shorter runtime, simply because the 4K recording mode is more battery hungry. So that's down from 45 to 38 minutes for the camera module, and the total pod included time drops from 170 to 140 minutes. Saying that, capturing 4K footage is power hungry, so no surprises there. And to be fair, while using the camera as I normally would, I didn't actually really feel much of a noticeable difference in battery life in the first instance. All in all then, although Insta360 chose to market this camera as an S iteration, the Go 3S is better in almost every way, other than battery life of course. That new CPU delivering 4K video resolution is truly a game changer for creatives wanting to produce content in the highest quality. Just having the ability to output at full 4K with the free frame video mode was the deciding factor for me, coupling all the other tweaks and advancements with the 3S, and it really is quite a substantial upgrade. Saying that, if you want the best possible video quality in more rugged and action-packed scenarios, raw video capture for color grading later, or just a larger array of settings to tweak your captured content, then a full-on action camera like the Ace Pro is still going to be the way to go. However, if you want quick and easy, high-quality live logging video capture fun for all the family, the Insta360 GO 3S boasts one of the smallest and lightest video cameras in the business and gets you otherwise impossible shots, firmly placing it up there as one of my favourite cameras.